Thanks for joining us here on the MaxWire. I am Steve Montoya. Now, Joe Davidson of the Sacramento Bee just released the top football players of the MaxPreps era. This dates back to the early 2000s up to this current past year. You can see some of the names on the list like Austin Collie. There you can even see James Montgomery of Cordova. Now we actually have Joe Davidson on the phone, and Joe has covered all these guys, and it seems, Joe, just like yesterday we were talking about Dan O'Graves being the MaxPreps National Player of the Year.
Oh, Steve, he was so good. It was only 3 years ago. A quarterback who could run, who could throw, lost his season opener to Grant, which was the state-ranked #1 team. And then Grant and Folsom met in a rematch in the Section Division II championship. And Dan O'Graves took him to task, passing, throwing, and stretched the top defense in the state. And they win. They went on to win the state. He was a terrific pick for MaxPreps Player of the Year because he wasn't a national recruit, but man, he made big-time plays. He's as good as this area's ever seen.
And Joe, 3 of the guys on the list could play each other soon. That's Shaq Thompson, Eddie Vanderdoes, and Eric Armstead.
Yeah, and that's something. This is an example, Steve, of how good the recruiting hotbed is here in Sacramento and extended Sac Kings section, as the Pacific 12 teams love to feed up on these guys. And all of those guys you just mentioned, they're all buddies, and they know that they'll be playing against each other soon. Armstead having a great couple of years up at Oregon as a defensive line. He was a great high school offensive lineman. Shaq is already being mentioned as a high-round draft pick as a linebacker. He was such a terrific runner in high school, but such a terrific speed linebacker. And then Eddie Vanderdoes, the true freshman out of the 3 down at UCLA, has already made an impact. These guys have made a seamless transition from dominating high school to being immediate impact guys in Pac-12 football. It's pretty impressive.
And Joe, let's get to this season now. In this past weekend, Ben Parietti of Jesuit had a monster game. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Ben Parietti, I met with him last week as I did a Sacramento Bee story on Jesuit and Christian Brothers of the Holy Bowl and why it matters. And Ben talked about how his family had played in the game. He had some relatives and brothers and a father who played. He's not a very big guy, about 5'8", but you could tell he just is all about pride. And he said, we've got to play well. We've got to make sure we play well against Christian Brothers of all teams in front of all those people at Hughes Stadium. His first carry, Steve, 80 yards, touchdown, finishes with 280 yards, a school record, a Holy Bowl record, and 4 touchdowns as Jesuit wins. He's a very impressive player. It's a very impressive team. Very quick, elusive, and seems to run downhill all the time. I'm very impressed with him.
All right, well, that's Joe Davidson of the Sacramento Bee. He also does rankings for MaxPreps. If you're not following the guy on Twitter, you should be if you want to be up to date with Sacramento high school sports. All right, before we go, let's get to our top play of the week in the greater Sacramento area, and this is Logan Kirby of El Dorado. Right, watch him go up the gut. He's tackled, he's down. I don't think so. Out breaks free for the touchdown. That's Logan Kirby right there. He has 647 yards in just 4 games. That's 161 yards per game. You can find stats like that and much more by going to maxpreps.com/Sacramento. I am Steve Montoya. Thanks for joining us here on the MaxWire.